And now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Well, that was a good, yeah, man, that was hot. All right, thank you guys, first of all, for being a part of our wrestling community. It's tough being a wrestling fan sometimes. You go to a party, you go to a poker game, a legal poker game, just a friendly one, not with NBA players and NBA referees that are going to rob you blind, but just a friendly place, and somebody starts talking shit about wrestling, and you're all alone. You're all alone because you're the only wrestling fan in there. Do you say something? Yeah. But how do you feel comfortable? Nobody has your back, right? And then all of a sudden, that one other person there, you never even met him. They're just there. And they're like, hey, man, shut up. I like wrestling. And all of a sudden, you guys are the tag team champions of this room, and no one can do shit about it. That's what Jeff and I are. We're the tag team champions of the world.
Yes, sir.
All right, you guys. Secondly, I want to thank Mr. Nick Manfredini, who came on last week, and he told us some stories about Bray Wyatt. It was very open and honest and vulnerable with us, and a lot of respect to him. Really appreciate him coming on the show, and we would like to have him back. If you haven't caught that episode, make sure you do. I think we might bring him back on the main show and just do the full show with just Bray stories. It was so awesome, and the guy worked with him for so long. So big thanks to Bray, and a big thanks to all our guests who are now part of the Wrestling with Friends family. Finally, before we get into this week, Jeff, there's a lot of talk around the wrestling community about Y2J, Mr. Chris Jericho, looking to maybe make his final run in WWE and head off to the WWE Hall of Fame, the Royal Rumble, you know. Jeff, how do you feel about Chris Jericho maybe making one final run before retirement?
I would love it. I've said it a million times. These wrestlers don't retire anyways.
Yeah.
They just stay in wrestling forever. And I have no hopes of ever knowing wrestling without Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has done everything in wrestling that I love. He did the dark side of the ring, AEW, WCW, he did, WWE. He's been in every part of every corner of the wrestling world. I know he was in New Japan. He's done every kind of wrestling thing that I'm aware of. And so I say, bring him back, baby. We love a nostalgic pop.
Yeah, man, I think the only place he didn't wrestle was like TNA. I think he wrestled like everywhere else in the world. I think he's been on the show as well, or I was on his show. Or we've both done each other's shows. A lot of talk about that. Cena has a final match coming up. AJ Styles is getting ready to hang him up. CM Punk's talking publicly about a little maybe retirement in the future. We don't know when. 30 years, Chris Jericho in the wrestling game. 30 years. One final run. That would be nice. It would be awesome. It would be.
This has got to be a new thing, though, isn't it?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I don't recall Lex Luger ever being like, this will be my final. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wrestlers just kind of disappeared. You didn't know where they went. Like they just kind of weren't on your TV anymore. There was no grandiose, like doing victory laps and getting your flowers. I understand it. I'm not against it, but this has this always been a thing?
I don't know. I think you're right. I think this is just part of the natural evolution of the business as people know the contract information and things like that, which they never knew before. It's like
sports now.
Yeah, now they've kind of embraced it for sure. For those of you watching the video and notice the Don Callis sunglasses, there's a crazy glare and it's super foggy in LA today and the sun is blinding me. It's the only reason I'm not trying to be.
I think you look cool.
Hey, thanks, bro. Monday Night Raw.
I feel like you give Don Callis a lot of love on this podcast. I don't know if it's deserved.
Dude, his sunglasses, his suit game, the no socks.
You give him. I think he's
credit.
He's not successful enough for you to be giving him all this love on here.
I'm not saying he's as cool as me, bro. I'm just saying his style and his mic work when he does commentary, I'm way into. Yeah, man, I like Don.
We give a lot of shout outs on this podcast, and I've never once pushed back. But I mean, this is like the 75th
that's a fair
Don
criticism.
Callis
that's
reference.
A fair criticism, bro. I'll wear it, man. I'll wear it. All right, no more Don Callis compliments for the rest of the day. Here we go. Adam Pearce. he announced that Seth Rollins had to undergo shoulder surgery. Son of a bitch. And is now being stripped of the World Heavyweight Championship. That is storyline and real life. So that fucking sucks. Excuse my language. I just hate when these guys and girls get hurt, man. It's just, you only get so many years in the wrestling business.
Also at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, dude, he's top dog, bro. He's top dog.
It's the worst time to get injured.
It just sucks. And the storyline was awesome. And now they're having to pull a U-turn and change all these things. And that's when stories will start to get criticized. And I don't know if it's fair criticism because it's like, yo, they got to flip a bitch. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like a football game where it's next man up. You know, these are storylines. And it's not like a movie where you just shut down and go, okay, you know, we'll work this out and he'll get shoulder surgery and come back and Brad Pitt's awesome in 7. Like that actually happened on the set of 7. And nobody knew. Everything was fine. So it just blows. And so here's the news story. I think the sun is finally going away. Yes. All of a sudden, out come Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Jeff's 2 favorite wrestlers. He predicted big future for them, and his prediction is dead the F on. Paul Heyman came out with him to help speak for them. He come out with the world championship. So it's an extra FU to the injured Seth Rollins. Yeah. Adam Pearce, sorry, I couldn't remember his name for a second. Adam Pearce says, yo, I'm going to need that belt. Braun Breaker's like, you going to take it? And Adam Pearce is like, you need to give me that belt. And Braun Breaker's like, no, bitch, you need to say please. And Adam Pearce sucks it up, man, just takes it like a punk, right? But he'll get a little payback later. But man, did he take it like a punk. I was like, oh, this isn't good for the Adam Pearce character at all. But it's great for the Braun Breaker character. And the Adam Pearce's character's sole function is to get the other wrestlers over, not to get himself over. So it's good. But man, they made him look like a punk-ass bitch. Speaking of bitches, Paul Heyman got on the mic and called Seth Rollins broken arm bitch or whatever he said.
That was wild.
Bro, a bum shoulder bitch, I think it was. That was nutsos, man. They're talking mad shit. They are full on heels, dude. I know, man. Full on heels. But really effective segment, I thought, dude. I know you were digging it too. I can already tell.
I loved it. Also, Adam Pearce is so good as a general manager. Like, he's so stinking good. I don't know where he's been before this, but like, holy crap, is he a great... It's convincing. He seems like he's always irritable, which is perfect for
for sure.
If everyone's always asking you for a match and everyone else is all trying to chase the title and everyone thinks they should be the person, Adam Pearce's temperament towards them is always perfect. I thought it was really interesting that like a lot of people are going to say, well, this is too soon for Breaker and Bronson Reed. Like it's too soon. Yeah. Well, they had to rush it because Seth got hurt. So yes, it is too soon. We know it's too soon. It's all happening too soon because we have to. So it's perfect to kind of put that in the storyline that Braun Breaker is a little cart before the horse, getting a little ego before he's even there. He started to believe his own bullshit. He started to believe his own, like, I am the future. That. I am the guy. So with him, like, pulling this kind of, like, diva move, like, yeah, see, that wasn't so hard, was it? Say please to me. What are you going to do about it? He's now become, oh, this is too soon. He thinks he's the hot stuff. So if that's what they're trying to do, they're doing a great job with it. If that's just by coincidence, I love it. It's happening.
I love that take. I totally agree with you. And I think there was intent behind it. I don't think it happened by accident. I think there was intent. And remember, kids, it's always by accident, never on accident. That's proper English. I remember that from grade school. Hey, you didn't do it. I was the one.
Oh.
All right. The World Tag Team Championships. We'll just go over this real quickly. Not a lot of story here. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defeated Finn Balor and JD McDonough for the Judgment Day. Bad day it's been tough times for the Judgment Day unless you're Dominik, but it's been tough times for everyone else. But it leads us to AJ Styles, right? It gives him something to do. He'll be a tag team champion before his big send-off. I don't think he's going to go off as a heel, so he's not going to turn on Dragon Lee. And Dragon Lee's super babyface. He's not going to turn on AJ Styles. So eventually they'll have to lose these, in a dirty way. They won't let him get beat clean, I don't think. I hope not. And then AJ can get his final story. But this is more filler for when they have the opportunity in the scripts to give AJ the proper send-off. That's my guess. I don't know for sure, but that's my guess. But the match was cool, but it's, it was they don't care about tag team wrestling, so we're not going to talk about it that much.
I will say that's it. They're such a forgettable tag team too. Do you think people 20 years from now will be like, oh, I loved the Dragon Lee, AJ Styles tag? Like,
It's inorganic,
If I ran wrestling, there'd be none of this. There'd be none of these, like, just let's pair two people up. Let's get Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair to be none of that. There are tag teams and there are singles. There's no singles who we make into tag teams for a small chapter of time. I just think it's too, I don't know. I just don't like it.
It doesn't give you any sort of magic because you know who's going to win, right? Like This was a surprise, right? So that they're like, haha, in your face. But it's like, we still don't know why they're together. It's inorganic. They did it on SmackDown too with Shinsuke and what's his face when they wrestled the MFTs. Like, so you already know going in like, man, like, okay, I get it, they're bros. It's worked a couple times in storyline where they made people be tag teams. Like Adam Pearce made Cesaro and Sheamus be a tag team. I don't know if you remember that storyline. They were fighting each other. And it was like, it was like a best of 7, and they still hated each other at the end of 7. Well, now you're a fucking tag team, you assholes. Now you have to get along. And they're like, fine, son of a bitch. So it works sometimes, but when it's just random, it never works.
I think if you have separate music, you're not a tag team. Like they're like that. Like that's
perfect.
That's the way to do it. If I got to hear two entrances, what are we doing? You're not even together.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's why you know it can't work with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and they have to turn on each other eventually because they each get their own music. And then one's going to be the bad guy and one's going to be the good guy. All right, moving on to one of the most important wrestlers in professional wrestling, the Intercontinental Champion, Dominik Mysterio.
Dude.
Mysterio. And he defeated Rusev again because he's the freaking man, and he won it clean. I don't want to hear about this low blow stuff. He struck the man in the groin, period. It's not dirty. That's where he happened to get hit. Sometimes you get hit in the balls, man. I'm not going to say it was intentional. This shit happens. My son accidentally nailed me right in the nuts, man. He's a little dude. He came in for a hug, but his elbow was like center body, and I didn't see it.
Dirty
his
rock.
Elbow just went, oh man, it's right in the balls, dude. I was done. Shout out to my family for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, so Rusev, he lost again, but Penta got involved in the match, so that sets up a little Penta-Rusev action or a little triple threat action. This would be an awesome triple threat match. Rusev versus Penta versus Dominik Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship with two luchadors and a freaking brick wall in the middle of the ring for them to jump up and climb on and bounce off and get the shit kicked out of them by. Like, that would be an awesome, awesome match. They haven't made this match as of yet. They might make it tonight. We record on Mondays before Raw. So if you're just hearing this on Wednesday or later in the week, don't get mad at us. But they could very well make this for a triple threat, maybe on a Saturday night's main event. Who knows? By the way, Saturday night's main event we'll get into on Thursday, and we'll have our predictions for you to make you a little pizza money. So that's the storyline with those guys. The women's Intercontinental Championship.
Before we get to that, can I just say
go ahead. Yeah, please.
I was going to say that, we there's been a lot of talk, especially from my mouth, about like the future of like, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, like they're the future. We've got so many great young wrestlers currently on the roster that are like the future. Forget all the NXT guys, which count for sure. But like Dominik Mysterio is a new wrestler. He's been crushing it. Like I know we give a lot of love to Bronze, but like Dominik Mysterio, he's the first ever Intercontinental and AAA belt holder, which is cool. Like he's doing the whole thing. He's like secretly just making all this ground. Or not secretly, but I don't know. I just feel like he's just crushing it without getting all the like hype. And then you've got Jacob Fatu, like obviously just recently got injured, but like that's a young guy that we're going to be seeing for the next 20, 30 years. So it's exciting time for like young guys. There's so much old guy talk with John Cena, CM Punk, and all these guys like that. But we've got so many great young guys also, which just makes me really excited.
Jeff, who do you know that's the biggest Dominik Mysterio fan in the world? I'll give you a hint. You do a podcast with him.
I would have to say it's Freddie Prinze Jr., the GOAT.
Jeff, who that you know gives more love to Dominik Mysterio than his own father?
Definitely Freddie Prinze Jr.
Just, you're right again, man. You're so freaking good at this game. Dominik Mysterio is the man. I've been saying this for a minute on this show. When you guys hated him, this show loved him. I know you did too, but you came around pretty quick.
They kept letting him get beat up by Rhea Ripley, and he had no hair, and he had a doughy body. And now he's
body shame, bro.
Now he's the total package, king. Bro. Now he's Eddie Guerrero meets Rey Mysterio meets his own thing. It's so good.
Yeah, dude. Dom's the man. Here's my favorite match of the night. This is gonna be really weird, dude. But it had the best story. And it was Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, I'm not saying it was technically the best match by any stretch of the imagination. But story-wise, to see Becky take an L the way she took that loss by being like, what the hell? How is this girl getting moves off on me? I'm better than this chick. She fucking sucks. I'm the fucking man, literally and figuratively in this case. I'm out of here. What the hell's going on? This is not my night, and I'm not losing to this broad. I'm getting my title. I'm going to bust you in the face with it. I'm getting DQ'd. I'm walking out of here. And what she did backstage was even better. But I loved what she did in this match. I'm not saying the match was like some 5-star, work of art or anything, but Maxine Dupree's always getting better. But the story and what she did and where it led to, I thought was so smart. And I haven't loved a lot of WWE storylines lately. I've been liking more AEW storylines lately. But to see her go backstage and get Paul Heyman's ear and have that speech. Did you see that little backstage segment, Jeff? I
can't believe she called him a penguin-faced prick.
Go
ahead. Becky was in her zone on that promo. Like, literally, first of all, the match was great. Maxine Dupree is a good wrestler now. Yeah, I know it's been years, and that makes total sense. She's accumulating talent. It took me
a long time to figure my shit out. I don't care how long it takes artists to figure it out. But you're dead on.
I think in our minds we went, oh, Maxine Dupree can't wrestle. But that was like 3 years ago that we came up with that assessment. She's been working and figuring it out.
Yeah, bro.
She looked great. She looked like just as good as any of the other girls in the ring. She looked great. Her body looked great. Don't get me started on how hot she is. She's so hot. But she crushed it, and the match was good. There wasn't any clunky spots or like unrealistic. It was very, very good. But that promo after the match that Becky grabbed Paul Heyman by the tie and pulled him in close, I feel like she was channeling all the frustration. She lives at home with a wrestler who was just on top of the mountain, and now because of another injury, he has to give up the title. They break up his group. I mean, there's nobody bigger in wrestling right now than Seth Rollins. That must be something you go home and have like frustration. It's frustrating. These are your dreams, I'm friends with a lot of baseball players, and their wives tell me like, dude, when my husband loses a game, like it's not a good few days for us. They take this real serious. Like it's frustrating. So I'm imagining that's happening at home with Becky and with Seth. And so I felt like she was just sitting there, just channeling all that for this promo and like being like, Paul Heyman just called my husband on television a bum shoulder bitch. And now like the whole thing's kicking him while he's down and all this different stuff. And I think she just channeled that into the promo. It was so stinking good.
I totally agree. I'm not even going to elaborate on what you said. I think you said it great. I will say this. That's the best acting she's done in 5 years.
It was so good.
Like it was, I literally was like, yeah, what? That should have been on a TV show or a movie, like not on a backstage wrestling segment. Like she really owned that. And Paul Heyman's a great sponge for you to kind of like vomit all your emotion on, right? And then squeeze him and see what comes out. Like that's
Absolutely.
The perfect Paul Heyman segment when he has an adversarial like relationship with someone. And I just thought they executed it at a really high level. It was great. All right. 20-man battle royale.
Or
battle royal. I loved this match. I didn't love the finish because I feel like I've seen the match too many times, even if I haven't. The match itself was great, and they told a lot of stories in there. They made me believe in Dominik for like 60 seconds. I was like, wait a minute, are they going to give Dom versus CM Punk at Saturday Night's Main Event? That would be sick. But no, it was Jey Uso who eliminated his own brother. Jeff, would you eliminate your own family member if it gave you a shot at glory?
They both said before they went out there that they're good and they love each other, but they're looking out for themselves.
I agree with that. So see, that's why I'm saying on Friday Night SmackDown, like Jimmy's all pissed off, but like he said the same thing Jay said, and they had an agreement and an understanding. And now all of a sudden he's like, sour grapes. And it's like, come on, man, you got to eat those grapes.
That's how
I totally agree with you.
It's just me, Oos. I mean, that's a quote.
Yo, you just nailed that.
Yeah,
you don't even like Jay, and you just nailed that. It's just me. Yeah, bro. He should have heard the song before he got in that match, bro.
Those are the rules.
All right, there were some other good backstage segments on Raw, but you guys can just watch the show and check it out. There was a great Heyman Breaker Reed one where he kind of talks about his past track record, and they start listening to him, and you can see he's really going to be the leader of the group. So check that out, too. Friday Night SmackDown. Cody Rhodes opened the show after an awkward conversation with Jimmy Uso, who's pissed off and angry and upset. But again, bro, you were in it. If you don't, what was it that rapper said? If you ain't in it with me, don't try to spin it with me. Like that's the way it goes sometimes, man. You agreed, and now you're pissed off. Sour grapes. So Cody opens the show. Jimmy's like, yo, I got to go talk to the general manager. And Cody's like, well, I got to go talk to the people. And he goes out there and he says, Tempe, Arizona. What do you want to talk about? With great teeth. Almost, they're so good they look like they should be in an anime. And by the way, Jimmy with the great teeth, too. Everybody's got great teeth in wrestling now. So he comes out, and Drew McIntyre interrupts him. And here's why I love Drew, and here's why I think everybody loves Drew. He doesn't tell lies. He only tells the truth. The truth from his perspective is sometimes askew, right? Like we'll go, oh, man, you're just crying. Like it's wrestling. That's how it goes. But he doesn't lie to the people. He tells the truth. So when he says, yo, I didn't attack Fatu. I didn't do that. I believed him, the character, the story, because he would say, yeah, F that guy, man. Like, I do what I want to do, and you're still going to give me this match, and he would still get it. So when he says he didn't do it, I believe him. And Cody was kind of the asshole the week before, because Cody's like, yo, I'll give you a match right now, you son of a bitch. Bang, 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 bang. And he's beating his ass, and then Drew turns it around. He's like, oh, you want some of this? Boom. Throws him out of the ring, throws him over the barrier. That should be illegal, by the way, if you're in a match. That's like using anything outside the ring should be illegal, but whatever. Throws him over the barrier. Oh, shit, he threw me over the barrier. And then Cody grabs the title and smashes Drew in the head with it. What? That's the babyface champion doing a punk-ass move like that? Did he think he was going to lose? We just saw Becky Lynch do that on Monday Night Raw, and it's because she thought she was going to lose. Is there some fear in the heart of the nightmare? The American nightmare, that is? So Drew's out there, and he's saying all this, and he's talking to the people. He's like, you guys support that asshole after the story Freddie just told you on his podcast? Forget you guys. You're complicit, too. Screw you guys. Screw the general manager. Screw Jeff Dye. Screw Freddie. Screw everyone. This shit is about me, and I'm going to finish my story. And he steals Cody's thunder with that moment, right? He's like, yeah, how do you like that? And Cody loses it. And he's like, you're going to steal my thunder? Then let's fight right now. And he takes off his 3/4 trench coat because it's cold in the backstage arenas in these arenas. It's warm in the crowd because you got all the body heat. But backstage, there's not that many people, and it gets cold as a witch's titty. That's what my grandpa used to say. He was from West Virginia. He'd say, that man was hard as hickory. Or he'd say, it gets as cold as a witch's titty. Or he'd go, that's slick as snot. He always had cool sayings like that. So it's chilly back there. So he had the 3/4 trench coat, looking smooth, sharp, dapper, takes off the ties like, yo, let's fight. They get all, and then all of a sudden Jimmy Uso jumps in because he's still pissed off. He got thrown out of that battle royal, and he attacks Drew. And then later that night, he's like, yo, I don't want a match with Drew. I want to fight. And the general manager says, you're going to get one in a no DQ match. And he's going to lose that match. Drew McIntyre's the friggin' man. He's not losing to Jimmy Uso. Not right now, according to storylines and where they're placed in the pecking order. No way, no day. So anyway, Cody's character showing, a lot of people are saying he might turn heel. The face of the company's not turning heel. That's not happening. John Cena didn't turn heel until, this just recent thing. But when he was the face of the company, he was a baby. They
learned their lesson on that too. So
yeah, they turned around. They turned that ship around. Might not be doing it
for a while.
Yeah, but he did. I thought story wise it worked for Cody, but I don't think he's turning heel anytime soon. So that was the opening segment to kind of set up the show for SmackDown. Once this happened, Jeff, were you ready for some wrestling, or were you like, I want more talk?
Oh, no, I was ready for some wrestling, but I love everything they're doing. I love everything they're doing. I think it's amazing. I also, again, I mean, I'm going to say the same thing for the 1,000th time. Like, implying that Jimmy Uso may have attacked Jacob Fatu and all this different stuff. It's like, how much inner fightings is this family got? You know, like you guys might be the messiest family in the history of families. I've heard of dysfunctional families, but you guys can't get along. Even the twins are scrapping. I don't understand what's going on. Like, they should just make the family stay together and beat everyone else's ass. I don't know why there's so much inner turmoil with this bloodline. Just get along with each other.
They'd be like 8 to 10 deep if they all came together, and nobody
It'd be
could touch
amazing.
them. There'd be chicks in there. There'd be dudes in there. Like,
and
they
so
could
many
literally
jobs
pull
for
everyone
like
together.
WWE legends that could come in and be like managers or valets or even just make appearances and stuff. It'd be cool.
That's funny, dude. I like how mad you get when they fight. And
Yeah, so like Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso are blood twins, and they're always at each other's throats bickering. It's like, knock it off.
It's like Thanksgiving when the family members that you were like, oh, I hope they don't come, they show up, but it's every day. It's every day.
Everybody's mad.
All right. Tiffany Stratton beat the shit out of Kiana James, non-title. She got attacked afterwards. Jade Cargill came in. She's like, nah, I got your back. And then she went, nah, I don't. And she beat her ass. She's got a cool freaking scar on her head now. She looks extra freaking tough, like she didn't look tough enough already. That scar, that cut, I saw the photos of it. Oh, my God, that was the grossest thing ever. Now it looks cool as hell. But Cargill's turned full heel, and she's winning this title. I don't know when, but it might be Saturday night's main event. That's when they're setting up their match for. I don't know if they set it yet, but if not, it'll get set this Friday for Saturday nights for sure. And I think Jade Cargill's going to freaking win the strap. And win the strap off of Strat, so to speak.
Love it. Cargill's like kind of what I was talking about with Maxine Dupree earlier, where it's like, you know, they go, she's too green, she can't wrestle. Well, that's all going away, that type of talk. You know, like enough time is passing that they're becoming great wrestlers.
Yeah, man, they're all working. Which leads us to someone we haven't mentioned on this show since he got hurt, really, and that's Ilya Dragunov. Yes. He defeated Aleister Black, and he retained his United States Championship after defeating Sami Zayn last week. By the way, my prediction, early prediction, you want to hear it before anybody else makes it?
Yes, please.
You know who's going to win the Royal Rumble this year?
Oh, already a Rumble prediction. All right.
Sami
Alex, remember
Zayn.
what he's saying, because, you think Sami Zayn's going to win the Rumble?
Sami Zayn is going to win the Royal Rumble. You heard it here. On October 27th. If somebody predicted it before then, you're awesome too, and we're both right.
That's wild.
That's my prediction. All right, so Dragunov came out there, and this is Zelina Vega, friend of the show, part of the family, part of the Wrestling Federation. She was out there supporting her man, Aleister. Damian Priest came out, gave a little distraction there, so I guess the storyline is Priest is targeting Dragunov. What the hell happened to Damian Priest? Where's his storylines? Where are his backstage segments? Where's his motivation? Like, since he's left Raw, it's like SmackDown didn't want him. Like, why'd you take him if you're not going to use him? It's weird to me.
Couldn't escape Damian Priest a while back, and now
the only thing I can think of outside of just not doing a good job with it, and I don't want to think that. So my guess is they gave him a ton of story on Raw. And they said, hey, help us out when you first come to SmackDown, being a part of other people's stories. And then, we'll organically get you another one too. And he's just being a good dude and being a good soldier. That's what I'm hoping it is. And I hope it's not just they don't give a shit, because it feels like they don't give a shit. And that sucks, by the way. That bums me out. I like Damian Priest a lot. So yeah. So Dragunov is still champ. We'll see what the future holds for them. We talked about Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso already. We talked about Jade already. So let's take a commercial break and come back with AEW's Dynamite. All right, Jeff, we're back. If they didn't cut to commercial, congratulations. That's one less commercial break you have to deal with. AEW Dynamite. Look, they've been doing storylines. So we're going to talk about them. I think they've been doing a good job, too. The Samoa Joe stuff, the Adam Page stuff, the Hurt Business stuff, the Mark Briscoe stuff recently with MJF, Darby, Ryan Garcia, or Daniel Garcia. I always call him Ryan Garcia. I'm such
my boy Ricochet.
Asshole. Ricochet, friend of the show now. Everybody has freaking storylines, and they're long-term storylines, and we love them for that, and we thank you guys for that. So we got the AEW World Trios Championship. We got the Ops, which is Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, who every time he comes on TV, my family's like, who the hell is that? That's how buff this dude is. And Katsuyori Shibata, who speaks using a language translator on his phone in backstage segments, and I love that. I think that's super slick. They stopped doing it, but I miss it. So please, do it again. They defeated the Hurt Syndicate, but it's off some bullshit because friend of the show, Ricochet, came in and distracted our other friend of the show, MVP, who might have even been our first guest on the show ever. How dare you, Ricochet? How dare you, man? You distracted MVP, which allowed Joe to lock in the Coquina clutch, and he got the damn submission win because of your punk ass. I'm sick of this shit. You need to turn babyface and do things the right way. We love you, Ricochet. Just kidding. That was good. Then it gets to, they're doing post-match promos like crazy. AEW is all about the post-match promo right now. Every week, somebody's talking after the match, and they're out of breath, and so they're not in their head as much thinking about what the dialogue is. They're just letting it flow because they're freaking tired because they just gave you 15 to 20 minutes of their life. And he cut a great promo at the end talking about how as long as you're the champ, you ain't shit. You're a cowboy bitch, he called him. Everyone's a bitch. Seth Rollins, bitch. This guy's a bitch. They treated Adam Pearce like a bitch. Like everybody in wrestling, there's just a bunch of bitches. They're continuing that story, which gives us Joe versus Adam Page, maybe future match at whatchamacallit, at Full Gear maybe. They run it back after he got lost clean, but he's a sore loser, as we all know. So that was good. We also have, and I want to know what your opinion is on this next story, because it's actually my favorite right now, and they're the ones that are able to communicate the least. And maybe it's why I like Don Callis so much. But Kazuchika Okada defeated Bandito, as he should. He's the unified champion, as he should be. And then post-match, Konosuke Takeshita comes out with his belt, his IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I hope I gave him the right title there. He came out, and he's just looking at Okada. And these guys have had beef. There's not room for two alphas in the Don Callis family, even though they're all alphas. But it's almost like this town's not big enough for the two of us, and there's only room for one Japanese dude in the Don Callis family, and it's going to be me. It's not going to be you. And that's the energy and the vibe that they've been giving off, and it's really made me want to see them wrestle, and they won't do it yet. They won't do it. And then they had that tag match where he kind of where Okada hits Takeshita and gives him the finger and like all this stuff that makes you want Takeshita to beat his ass and get the championship. I'm so excited for them to finally wrestle. They're going to wrestle, possibly for Full Gear. And it's one of my favorite storylines, if not my favorite. And the only person that talks for them is Don Callis. And I love it. Is this a match? Have these guys gotten you intrigued, or is the language barrier too much, or are you just not into it? But this to me is really good stuff.
It happens is I'm a hater, and then when the match starts, I'm into it. Like I love the wrestling part of it. In the ring, it works, but the language part does throw me off when
I think it does for a lot of people.
When I'm, trying to get into it.
I think it does for a lot of people, and I think that's fair. But I also believe that AEW tries to find creative ways to help them communicate. They gave Okada his thing originally, which is calling everyone a bitch. That's the word of the day, by the way. If this is Pee-wee's Playhouse, we'd be in trouble.
Well, you see it a lot in WWE too. They keep using bitch. Like I think since The Rock came back, when The Rock started working with TKO, it's like, I guess they could say bitch now.
Yeah, well, now everybody gets to say it, and everybody loves saying it. Well, I'm super excited for this match. I really love both these guys, and we'll see what happens. Next up is a filler match in the career of Jamie Hayter. She's too good to be in a match like this, by the way. I get why. There's only room for so many people on TV, so many matches. They have two female champions in Mercedes Moné and in Chris Statlander, so they can't just give her an A story. So she's in a B story right now, but I really think she's better than the story she's in. I think they know that, and I think they're going to move forward, so I'm not going to shit on them because they've been doing stories. Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata defeated Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue and Julia Hart. They beat all them bitches. They beat them all down. Mm-hmm. They get to earn the right to choose their first-round opponents in the AEW's Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament, and they chose Sky Blue and Julia Hart because we just beat y'all. We just beat you, so we're going to beat your ass again. So they're going to be the early favorites, I guess, although you might say that later in the show there's some new favorites. We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, here's my favorite segment of the episode. And I would normally hate a segment like this so much, but I feel like they saved it. So they're trying to get Chris Statlander over, so to speak, with the crowd, and not her wrestling, because her wrestling is super good, but with the personality. And I think over the last 6 months, they've been searching and experimenting and trying to find out, where her wheelhouse is and where they can make her look best as far as a babyface champion goes. And Mercedes Moné is a good catalyst to help drive that, right? Because we're supposed to hate her and love Chris. So anyway, Mercedes comes out, Mercedes 12 belts, and that's her storyline, belts. It's not my favorite storyline they do, but it is a storyline, so they get credit for that. But she gets interrupted by Harley Cameron, who does these Harley Cameron is like the Santino Marella of AEW, right? Like, she does all this comedic wrestling and all these comedy sketches, and she can sing and she can play guitar. She's actually really good and talented and would freestyle songs. Like a few months ago, I thought she was doing well with that. And then she brings in this puppet. And if you hate puppets, then you hate this segment. My uncle is Paul Williams. He wrote the song for Kermit the Frog and had the original Kermit the Frog and let me play with Kermit the Frog when I was 5 years old. So I fucking love puppets, Muppets, whatever you want to call them. I think Muppets are awesome. So we got Minnie Monet, who comes up from under the table because, she was so well hidden, you'd never notice her there. And Mercedes Moné is like, what the F? And she's not having it. And instead of grabbing Harley and pulling her out, she smushes the puppet's face in the cake. And she's like, oh, it's Harley Cameron, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not. It's Chris Statlander. She appears. She jumps up. She choke slams Mercedes Moné, right? Or not choke slams, slams her face right into the cake and the table, through the table, smash. And they made Chris look good. And they made Mercedes Moné look like shit, as they should. That was the point of the segment. So I thought they did a good job with it. And my favorite part, Jeff, I think you were at 38,000 feet when I said this a couple episodes ago. But I said I didn't like when they brought the guys with all of Mercedes Moné's belts looking like go-go dancers. I thought they should be in suits. Well, guess what they were wearing this week? Fucking suits with no shirt underneath so you could still see the muscles, but still suits, dude. They were looking sharp, looked way better, way cleaner. Mercedes. Why do I keep saying that? Mercedes, baby. Oh, because Adam Cole, that's why. Statlander versus Moné for Full Gear. That's going to get set. And then backstage, Athena, who we knew as Ember Moon in WWE, came backstage and starts talking to Mercedes. Almost did it again. And she offered to team with her for the tag team tournament, and Miss Moné accepted. So they could be the new favorites over Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata, but those are for sure going to be the final two teams in this tournament. They kind of gave it away unless they do a swerve and surprise us, but that seems to be the two front runners for it. So maybe they're just trying to get us hyped up. And then finally, and I'll let you run with this one if you want to, because he's your favorite at AEW. We had Hangman Page cut a promo where he vowed not just to beat Samoa Joe, but he was going to ruin Samoa Joe's entire fucking life.
That's the AEW vibe, dude. You can't just win a guy in a 3 count. You gotta set
burn
their
his house down.
on fire. Or you've gotta ruin their life. Yeah, it's very wild.
Staple their lip or some crazy shit, man. So Hangman came out there. The people love him. He's a people's champion, 100%. He's the working man's blue collar champion. F the white collar fans. It's blue collar only. Like, that's his vibe. And he's really been growing on me. I can't wait for Full Gear. I think over the last few months, the last year, maybe even longer, the AEW pay-per-views are better than the WWE pay-per-views. Whereas WWE's bigger, right? Bigger, more successful, but they're pricing a lot of people out. And we can get into that on the Thursday show as well. So I think with these stories and these long-term stories and reminders of things that happened in the past, AEW can start to develop, more of a fan base. And I think they are a little bit. Jeff, any final thoughts on this week in wrestling?
No, I like the way everything's going. I'm very excited about it. I wish there was a way to keep these wrestlers safe so we had no injuries ever.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm really happy with the way things are going. I think Paul Heyman deserves a little shout out on how he's doing very good at weaving all the little storylines together. So I think that he's a pretty precious commodity as far as they know he's not going to get injured. So he's able to spin his little webs, you know, even the way he tried to seduce Becky, like, hey, the offer's on the table, think about it. Like, he's able to wiggle his way into a Brock Lesnar and then a Roman Reigns and then a Braun and a Braun. So I think that they are listening to us, maybe, that these managers and then these valets can be very helpful tools in WWE. You know, like if you had more guys like that were like Paul Heyman or like Mr. Fuji or like whatever, you could kind of do these things better. But at least they're using Paul for that.
See, you did have final thoughts, and they were awesome.
Yeah, I guess I did.
That wraps up a wild week in wrestling from AEW Dynamite's chaos and continuing shift into long-term storytelling. WWE shifting power plays on Raw and SmackDown. A whole lot of shit happened and went down, but we're not done yet. Join us tomorrow, Thursday, or whenever you listen to Unsanctioned Thursdays. And we're going to break down the current card for Saturday night's main event as we know it so far. We'll make our predictions, get you some pizza money. We can talk a little business too. I have an announcement to make as well, so stay tuned for that. Ooh. And we'll see you then. On behalf of Jeff Dye, I'm Freddie Prinze Jr., and this is Wrestling with Freddie Federico. Peace.